Welcome to the finale of Pokémon Emerald, where last time, we took down the real champion of Hoenn, that being Steven. And this time, is basically just a random episode. It is the finale of the entire series, which means we're talking about a bunch of trivial things I didn't get to cover. It's fun. So, first things first, before anything, all of the nicknames have been granted to every single well, not party member, but to all the other Pokemon that had nickname options. So, starting off with, okay, yeah, there you are. So, you got Plywood the Sudowoodo, which I actually really I like the name Plywood for it. I don't know why. It implies that Sudowoodo is really flimsy, in which case, not really, unless if you hit it with a special move, but that's besides the point. You also got Sippy Cup the Lilip, which kind of does look like a sippy cup now you look at it, right? I really don't like the weird wiener hair it's got going. It's really freaking weird. Asteroid the Regirock. Pretty cool name. I liked it, so went with it. Chocomenta. I tried looking into this, and apparently it's some kind of, I think it's Mexican candy? Or like a Mexican chocolate thing? I'm not exactly sure, but when I tried to look into it, I couldn't really find much about it, so it's still a cool name. I like it. I don't know where the chocolate would be. Actually, I don't want to know where the chocolate would be. And Satellite the Registeel, which I like a lot because he kind of does look like a satellite. Kind of looks like a radar dish. And I don't know why, it started reminding me of Star Set because they have a song named Satellite. Very good song. I look into it. Delta the Rayquaza. Pretty on the nose, especially with the Delta episode stuff and Oris, but hey, it's still a name that fits, and I like it a lot. Aeon the Latios, which, again, kind of just fits since he is an Eon Pokemon, so Aeon kind of works out. And it reminds me of Aegis from Persona. I missed doing that series. Nurikabe. Okay, this one is actually pretty interesting, and thank you, Nutch, for this nickname in particular. I need to find exactly what the source of this was, because now I can't remember for some reason. Okay, yeah. So, the name of this was because of the really, really cool artwork for Groudon in the Scarlet Violet Paradox Rift TCG set, which I'll put on screen right here, which freaking looks pretty badass. Holy crap, I like it a lot. So, I thought it was a pretty good name. Nurikabe sounded really cool, so, hey, there you go. And last but not least, Regal. Regal? Regal? I don't know how you really say it. I'm just gonna go with Regal and go from there, but it's, one of you guys suggested this because it's a blue supergiant star in the constellation of Orion, so I thought that fit really good, especially since we have a party member named Orion. I thought it was really, really cool and on point, so thank you, truly, for the person who nicknamed that. That was really creative, and I like that a lot. So, there's that. There is all of that, but there's one more that we haven't seen for quite a while, and I am going to be so happy. Why did I hit that? Okay, whatever. Oh, I am so curious about how many levels, in which case I need to go and switch somebody out. But yeah. For the gist of this episode, it is literally just trivia and random stuff that, I don't know, I thought about. So, really nothing of progress being made because, well, we're already at the end, so what progress is there to be made? I guess if I really wanted to go and fight the trainers out in the waters, I'm not doing that. So, there has been a false Orion that has been training his ass off for the entirety of the series. How many levels? Good to see you. Your Pokemon can only be doing good. By your 35 levels. No, I want him back. There's your Pokemon. Yeah, I didn't come back here and rename him, but this guy got to level 41. Oh, damn, you gave him Belly Drum too. Hello. Okay. Not bad moves. Nope. No fighting type moves, though, for some reason. Alright, well, I really thought it was going to be higher level than that, because I spent a lot of time off-screen doing random stuff, but, apparently not. Alright, well, there's only one last thing to do, one last nickname, and that is to give the crowning nickname to the false Orion. He is no longer going to be the fake Orion. He is made his own name in the world by running in a daycare, I guess. I don't know. I hope this fits, because I don't know if this is going to fit. So now you shall be named... Oh god, I hope I know how to spell it. Is it E-I-G-W? That kind of looks right. Right? Man, that looks weird now. Let me see if I spelled this right. Yep, it's I-E, not E-I. Whatever. Alright, that was close. Siegward of Katarina. For those who don't know the reference, that is a Dark Souls 3 Siegward. No, Siegward. There we go. No! Why am I pressing B when I meant to press A? Jeez. Siegward. But yeah, he's the Onion Knight from Dark Souls 3 who just battles demons because he likes to. It feels nice to finally have him back in, even though he is never being used. How close were you to the next level, anyways? Oh, come on! Well, I guess I'm leaving that as a meme. Only 100 few more steps and he would have gotten to level 42. Honestly, impressive, considering that I really ran around the region, and yeah, that's really weird. Alright, well, there's that. So, let's actually get into what I wanted to go and do today, which is a couple things I want to go and check out. Really, just one thing, and I just kind of slightly remembered it. I want to go to Mount Chimney. Oh, right, I have to go all the way over there. I'll meet you guys there in a second. I don't know why I said Mount Chimney when I meant Mount Pyre. Okay, whatever. So, the reason I want to come back here is because there's really no reason to ever come back here once you do the story stuff here. But I'm more or less curious about the top because, well, we did resolve the whole deal with Groudon and Kyogre and, well, Rayquaza by extension. So I'm curious if there's still anything here. Nightman. There was something here. The two men who took the orbs came back to return them on their own. Those men. Perhaps they are not so evil after all. It is my role to pass on the legends of Hoenn to future generations, and the crisis that just ended Sootopolis rewrote a legend. Have you the time to bear the new legend of Hoenn? It happened long, long ago. The world was racked by a ferocious clash between the Pokémon of the land and the Pokémon of the sea. The Pokémon of the land raised mountains and created continents. The Pokémon of the sea raised huge waves and carved out oceans. Their fierce duel raged without end. The world was engulfed in massive fires and vicious storms. It was then that the Pokémon of the sky descended from a storm. The Pokémon, shining a vivid green, becalmed the two enraged Pokémon. Then, its duty done, the green Pokémon flew off into the wild blue yonder. Interesting, huh? I don't know how well documented that is, but I remember that being a thing in Oris, and I wanted to see if that was a thing in Emerald, and apparently it is. That's pretty much the only thing I wanted to go out of my way and see. There's really nothing else out in the world. Yeah, post-game for Pokemon Emerald's pretty small, all things considered. So, I guess we'll stop where we started, I guess, and get into trivial stuff, which really I don't have a ton of, but it's stuff that's interesting, I think. So, I think that, let's just get into talking about random stuff while we're sitting here in our little root. So, again, this is a bunch of trivial stuff that I found off screen, and I just thought it was interesting, so let's go through it. First, regarding Wailord, for some reason. With Wailord's introduction in Ruby and Sapphire, it remained crowned as the tallest Pokemon for 17 years, until Eternatus was created in Sword and Shield. Pretty good track record there, Wailord, especially since it's just a random giant whale. Another weird thing is talking about Pokemon with the ability of Swarm. Weirdly, that ability, if you have a Pokemon in the lead with that ability, it will make the frequency of wild Pokemon cries in the overworld increase. Weirdly, this only appears again in Sun, Moon, Ultra Sun, and Ultra Moon, despite it not doing anything in the overworld encounter-wise, so it's cool to hear, I guess. In the ROM data of Ruby and Sapphire, remnants of an old soundproof ability was called Cacophony. which added the effect of Roar not working along with the immunity to sound-based moves. This was replaced what is now called Soundproof, but it remains in the ROM data for some reason. Talking more about the cable car over in Mount Chimney, there is a 1 in 64 chance of spotting an NPC, which can either be a hiker, a camper, or a picnicker who's just hiking on the mountain. It's pretty cool. A weird quirk is talking about Nature Power. Nature Power, as a move, is stated to have 95 accuracy despite it overriding its accuracy when the move is changed, since it guarantees the move change. This was later changed to just a bunch of hyphens in Fire Red and Leaf Green. This is just a weird Emerald and Before thing. The whole making your base mechanic within the trees and stuff didn't make a reappearance until Oras, which is in 2014, and it still has yet to return in modern times, unless if you count the secret bases in the Grand Underground and BDSP, but still, it's kind of sad that this mechanic has never come back besides the Hoenn games. Missing, though, we can actually kind of look at, is technically viewable in the game. It's this little sprite of a question mark. If you look at any blank entry into your Pokedex, the sprite used for an unknown Pokemon is a question mark in the middle of a black circle. This is used as a placeholder sprite for Pokemon with no data, just like how Missing No sprite was garbled in red and blue. So, hey, technically we can always see Missing No. Something interesting is at the top of Sky Tower. If you were to do a walk through walls glitch, the quote-unquote sky is programmed as water because when you walk around, it ripples when you walk on those tiles. So, I guess they just did a little trick to make it look like the sky. Groudon, more interestingly, was the heaviest Pokemon in existence minus a glitch until Sun and Moon, in which case it got its record broken by Celesteela. Man, this game already had 2 record-breaking Pokemon and then both got broken in later games. I mentioned this a long time ago, but the Ralts that Wally encounters at the very beginning of the game can be a shiny. Unfortunately, he doesn't keep the shiny form, but it's jerkish that it can even frickin' happen. Same thing for the wild Poochyena/Zigzagoon at the very beginning of the game, when you first choose your starter. That thing can also be shiny for some reason. As for other things, this is the last game, I think also between this and Fire Red and Leaf Green, that we had the physical special split on moves. Thank God. It's so weird having to deal with the physical special thing in these games, considering I grew up on Gen 4, so I constantly have to remind myself what is special and what is physical. It's weird. A weird programming error involves Chikorita. For some reason, Chikorita is not required when it comes to receiving the National Dex Diploma in Ruby and Sapphire. So, if you wanted to go and get the National Dex Diploma, don't get Chikorita. It literally doesn't matter. It's really weird. Now, getting more into more development talk, and the rest of this is probably just going to be development talk. In a blog post from Junichi Masuda, post-release, he stated that during development, Game Freak considered changing the amount of Pokemon you can have on you, and the number of moves you can have at once. Obviously, both changes were scrapped likely due to balancing reasons, and honestly, I think it's for the better. I think it would have shifted things too much if we had fewer or more Pokemon on us with fewer or more moves on them. Due to the feedback on Gold, Silver, and Crystal, Ruby and Sapphire were intended as a soft reboot to the series, where only new Pokemon appeared with some older ones popping up later in the game. That's why there's seemingly useless Pokemon like Wurmple or the existence of your basic flyers like Tailo, or even your pseudo-legendaries like Beldum, or even your dragons like Salamence. They were meant to act like kind of like replacements for the old Pokemon we've seen like Dragonite. According to art director and graphics designer Ken Sugimori, he wanted to push the boundaries of what Pokemon could look like when developing this game. He cited Blaziken as a really good example, for it starts as a cute little chicken that turns into a fierce but not really cute humanoid creature. As such, the starter line reflects the cute to ugly / fierce trend, with the first evolution looking like a cute little chicken or weird axolotl thing into something either really badass or ugly. The finalized titles for Ruby and Sapphire have a really rocky history. Due to wanting to return to Red and Blue's roots, there were various disagreements internally throughout staff, and what they could agree on was already trademarked. As such, the names were only picked 4 months before the Japanese release of Ruby and Sapphire. Another conundrum faced was that the Pokemon Company initially rejected the names due to over-reliance on gemstone namings, such as Gold, Silver, and Crystal. However, since it was so late in development, they finalized the names into Ruby and Sapphire. And lastly, extending upon that, Ruby and Sapphire are a direct callback to Red and Blue. The namesake was to represent how it was a soft reboot of the series, introducing a whole new region of Pokemon, along with the disconnection from the Kanto and Johto games' stories. That's why you don't hear anything about Red or Blue or Gold and Silver, or even a lot of the Pokemon from those games. Most of it's just Hoenn. And that's pretty much all the trivial things I had to really go over. There's obviously so much more that you can talk about with this game, and there's a lot of things like speedrunning stuff and just very well hidden things, but those are the things I thought that were the most interesting. So, with all that said, there's really nothing left for me to show. That's pretty much it. It feels weird that we're at the end, and it honestly does not feel like it that long ago that we just started the journey, but I mean, actually, how long did I start the journey? Oh, it doesn't tell you? Oh, that sucks. Man, I wanted to see how, I mean, I have the YouTube thing for a reason, but, yeah, it felt really cool to come back to a Pokemon game again, so, before I start getting into farewells and all that, I just want to go over all the sources used to create this project and, you know, all the stuff that backed up my information. So, many of the sources used to create the, well, not to create the LP, but a lot of the sources used for information and the stuff derives from Bulbapedia's Pokemon Emerald Guide, PokemonDB.net, and GameFAQs.com. All of those were used to supplement information and to help with the routing of how I wanted to handle things. A lot of the trivial and confirming in-game information stuff came from Chuck Conroy's LP of this game. He had a slew of information just from his LP, and it helped out a lot when it came to coming up with the trivia and coming up with the information on this game. So, his LP is to thank for that. And that's pretty much it for sources and all that. God, it feels weird that we're at the end again of another Pokemon LP. I mean, I know it's been a little bit since Soul Silver, but yeah, it feels weird. Before we end things off, I gotta put people in order. Because it wouldn't be a Pokemon LP if I didn't say goodbye to all the members that made the journey with us. So, let's start with Nova. The Trico that turned into a Sceptile, and honestly carried a lot of the early game. You may not have been as useful until the later game, well, even in the later game. Sceptile is pretty hard to use in the late game, but early game, I mean, you clutched up against Roxanne, you clutched up against Brawly. You were very much needed. You clutched up against frickin' Watson, of all people, too. That I was not expecting, so I thank you, Nova. You carried us for a long time in the early game, and you're still a very powerful member. I just wish we had your Mega Evolution, because your Mega Evolution's amazing. Nebula. The Wingull that people probably thought you were going to be too weak to even carry anything for, and proved a lot of people wrong. While yes, you were definitely our HM user of Surf and Fly, you wreaked pretty good havoc throughout most of the game. You did pretty good against Brawly. You've done really good against a lot of the ground and rock types we had to deal with. Hell, even a lot of the flying types that we couldn't really deal with at the time. You did very good against them with Shockwave. I really like Pelipper, and after this LP, I've got a lot more respect for Pelipper than I thought I'd ever have. So thank you. Thank you, Nebula, for being there since the beginning as well. Orion. The second Orion, because the first one was false. You were so OP. When the moment you evolved, actually no, the moment we got you, you were landing critical hits all the time, you were just annihilating everything on the battlefield, and you just shutting things down with Fake Out, annihilating teams with Belly Drum and Brick Break. You did everything that a Hariyama should and could do, and you were amazing for that front, and we didn't really even take that much advantage of your ability. There's been times where we did, but honestly, we didn't really need it. I hope to show that through this LP that Hariyama's actually a really good party member, albeit very limited, but hey, it's a fighting type. What do you want from it? Zenith, our main electric type that carried us a lot against flyers and the such. Along with that, helping us against a lot of legendaries, getting the paralysis on them when needed. You were awesome. I mean, Manectric's always a good Pokemon, and I always highly recommend using one if you've never used one. But Zenith is still very, very good. Maybe an overused team member, but I still love Zenith all the same. You did amazing, buddy. You did really, really good on the team. Soul, our Camerupt, who just basically blew everything up. While you were kind of hard to use at the very beginning when you were a Numel, you easily earned your right on the team by just nuking stuff with Eruption and Earthquake and even Rock Slide. Didn't even need a fourth move. We just kept Rock Smash because I didn't really know what to put on it. You were awesome. And kind of like with Hariyama's case, I hope to show that Camerupt's not just some fodder Pokemon. It's actually really, really good if you know how to use it, and I really love Soul. Soul carried a lot of things too. I mean, hell, you saved us against the fight with, what's his face in the Elite Four. You did, Drake, that's his name. You did awesome, and I'm very glad that I've chosen the Camerupt. And lastly, Eclipse, our answer to Dragon types, who did so freaking good. Oh my god. Eclipse may have been a weird choice. I don't think a lot of people ever use a Dusclops, but you were awesome. He's definitely the tank of the group. He tanked a lot of things. Hell, he tanked things against frickin' Groudon and Kyogre of all things. And even against Drake during the Elite Four, or even the other Elite Four members, you held your own very well. With Ice Beam, being annoying with Confuse Ray and Will-O-Wisp, and Shadow Ball, you did awesome. And again, kind of like with Hariyama and Camerupt, I hope to show that Dusclops isn't a bad Pokemon at all. It's tanky, and its role is pretty weird, but I felt that it was just the Pokemon to deal with other dragons for, especially since I was not going to use a pseudo-legendary myself. Thank you, Eclipse. Thank you for being on the team. And lastly, thank you guys for all of, well, everything, for commenting, for joining me along the series, and for those who came back, or joined in a random episode and decided to watch the entire series through. You have no idea how much that means to me that you guys are willing to do that and wanting to do that. It feels really weird, and there's a lot of big changes that happened during this LP, well, channel-wise and the such, and I only have you guys to thank for that. Along with that, all the nicknames for all the Pokemon, you guys kind of get to be cemented within the LP yourself from the nicknames that you gave throughout the LP, and I just love doing that. That's why I love doing the nickname stuff, and why I like going out of my way to get random Pokemon just so you guys can nickname them. It, in a way, makes it feel like you guys are part of the LP, and I really do appreciate the love and support from you guys. It was an awesome journey, and I'm just glad that we did it. And in a lot of ways, this is a, I guess, extension of Pokemon Soul Silver, when I was trying to get away from that as well, just to make it its own thing. But I do feel like I've improved a lot since Soul Silver, even Soul Silver, which is weird to say because Soul Silver wasn't that long ago, but I feel like I've improved a lot since then, and I hope you guys have felt the same way. And I hope that this means even in future LPs that those LPs will have even higher quality because of that. So, I sincerely do thank you for those who watched the series, joined in the middle of the project, or simply joined later on when the project has been completed. Any amount of support is more than enough for me. And just with a view just means a lot, especially with how my YouTube is nowadays, where, I mean, we got monetized in the middle of the LP, which is just freaking insane. And I only have you guys to thank for that. So, again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. So, that's it at Pokemon Emerald. That is everything I wanted to cover. So what's next? Well, I'm not going to say anything specific, but I mean, the next LP is going to come right after this episode. Well, the next day from this episode, so I think I can at least give you one hint because, well, it's pretty much already here. Your only hint is that it is a sequel to a game that I haven't covered for a long, long time. That's all I'll say for that. So, next time on whatever we do next, I guess we'll just be under a dark moon. I'll just leave it at that. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.